The U.S. Senate race between Governor Steve Bullock and Republican incumbent Senator Steve Daines is certainly one of the top Senate contests in the country and expected to be competitive. Now, a new poll from Montana State University shows that's precisely the case and has Bullock actually leading Senator Daines at this point. MTN's chief political reporter Mike Dennison takes a closer look.
The online poll conducted late last month asked registered Montana voters who they'd choose in Montana's U.S. Senate race if the election were held now. 46% said they would vote for Bullock, a Democrat, and 39% said Daines. 7% said they're undecided, and 6% said they'd vote for someone else. The poll also showed that 70% of Montanans approve of the job that Bullock is doing in response to the coronavirus pandemic. It asked the same question about Senator Daines' response, and just 48% said they approve, but 28% said they don't know. Montana State University political scientist David Parker told MTN News he's not surprised by the results, given the huge amount of publicity Bullock has received during the COVID-19 pandemic. But he notes that Bullock's lead is still within the poll's 4.6% plus or minus margin of error.
I think it's certainly reasonable to assume that the race is probably within the margin of error and too close to call. So yes, while we show a lead, again, it's within the margin of error. So I would say, yeah, this is a competitive Senate race, and I think our poll demonstrates that.
Still, he says the poll is worrisome for Senator Daines and good news for Bullock.
It just demonstrates the information advantage that executives have in times of crisis. So we got an information advantage. People like the job that Bullock is doing. He was already pretty popular. And then let's add the final piece of the equation. Steve Daines has been on TV since early March with television advertisements. Do you know how much Steve Bullock has spent on TV? Zero. So that certainly should be a cause for concern.
The poll also asked how Montana voters felt about President Trump and the presidential election. 53% said they approve of how the president is handling the COVID-19 pandemic. But in the fall presidential matchup against Democrat Joe Biden, 45.3% of Montanans said they would vote for the president, and 39.7% said they'd choose Biden, a difference of just 5.6 percentage points. Parker says that probably means Montanans are more open in 2020 to considering someone else besides Trump than in 2016. But that the president remains in good political position in the Big Sky state.
Does this mean that I think Montana's suddenly going to go Democratic in 2020? I don't. Yes, the race is within the margin of error, but if I were still laying down money in Vegas, I'd put money on Donald Trump winning Montana.
And one last thing to mention. It's only May. We have a political eternity until the November election and an unprecedented national crisis still unfolding. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.